Hello and welcome everybody to the SARG Superspeedway series as they prepare to begin their 2021 season here. They will be in the Cup cars. For those of you joining this series and watching for the first time, folks, it is going to be an absolute show. Here in the booth with you tonight, it's Michael Norman and myself, Tyler Riggs. Michael, how you doing, man?
Absolutely fantastic, man. I'm so glad to be back. I'm pumped for this. Super Speedway racing. It's going to be fun. 3 wide, maybe 4 wide if they try to squeeze it. I can't wait to get this season started.
Yes, sir, folks. We are about a minute out from qualifying wrapping up. And just to give you a little background, if you're hadn't caught last season, it was a fantastic 12 race season. Of course, all super speedways. They tackled Daytona, they tackled Talladega Legacy Daytona. Excuse me. Even had Michigan as well as in the All Star event. They had the iRacing Super Speedway, a fantastic show by SARG. Of course, you can catch up and watch that season on the Flatout Racing Network on YouTube if you prefer. But last season's champion, Lucas Cram, got it done, folks. Currently, right now, he is sitting P3 on the boards in qualifying, but Cram had a fantastic season, 5 poles in the season, had 3 wins, and clinched, of course, the championship at Legacy Daytona back in December with a very strong run. If you're not familiar with this series, it's one of those series where you go short season, there is a playoff, it is win and get in, and then once that playoff begins from there is no rounds. It's just the best man or best driver, as I should say, takes it after a 4-race playoff. So this ought to be some fantastic action. It's the Daytona 200 here today for the SARG Super Speedway series. There'll be 80 laps. There will be a stage caution halfway through the race at the completion of lap 40. And as well, Michael, some extra sittings. They go a limited fuel capacity. It makes always for a great show of strategy on top of just pure talent for these super speedway drivers.
Absolutely. This track is not as easy as people think it is to race. You know, it's not just hold the throttle down and turn left. No, you've got to be careful with it. You've got to ease into the corners. You've got to drag the brake so you don't run into the car in front of you. At super speedways, there's drafting, yes, but the car behind can only go a certain amount of speed before having to back off because you cannot bump in these corners. It'll get a car in front of you too upset to where we'll see them start to spin out. These cars are gridding right now. Tyler, it's, on a side note, it's great to be back in the booth with you, man. This is going to be a fun, this is going to be fun, and it's going to be interesting to say the least. And I honestly cannot wait to get this exciting start here. And just have fun with you, man. It's been a while.
It has been a while. It's good to be back, of course. And as we look at the qualifying results, as you mentioned, they are starting to grid up and get ready to go here for the first race of the 2021 season. Garrett Baines, newcomer at least, what didn't race last season, and has came in to this Cup Series and has come out with this first pole in SARG, putting down a 47.764, and then right behind Mr. Baines was the drivers that finished 1, 2, 3 in points. It was Brandon Hoff behind him with a 47.69, and then goes Lucas Cram, the defending champ, with the 47.780, and then Nick Olson starting in fourth, 47.787. So these times are quick. We mentioned this is of course, the Cup cars. And Michael, for these drivers, we heard some rumblings coming into this new season of getting used to that new aero package. It's something that dropped on them last season when they were running the trucks kind of late in the season, and guys had to scramble to figure out, how they're going to approach their runs and the difference within that. And we're hearing early on, at least from their preseason rumblings, this could be just an insane show here in these Cup cars.
Absolutely. I've raced this package on many occasions, and it's fun just to suck up to a car in front of you. It's great, but again, it's all going to come down to patience. Patience and what's the word I'm looking for? But it's also gonna require you to hit the brakes, to drag your brakes a little bit, because, like I've said before, the car in front of you is gonna have to check up. They cannot just take a run whenever they can. They got to play it smart. You got to be smart. That's the word I was looking for. Smart and patient at plate tracks like this. Just ride your brakes, ride your car. You might even see some people just ride in the back until close to the end of the stage, because then and start making their way up to the front. You don't want to get involved in a wreck really early. So as they're heading through turns 3 and 4 right now, we're getting ready to get this race started. Tyler, we got 80 laps, 40 cut in half. I'm not sure what the fuel strategy would be here, as we already do have Brandon Houff, who's having a bit of blinking internet issues right now. But hopefully those get settled soon, as we're getting ready to take the green flag.
Yes, sir. As they line it up, it'll be Garrett Maines to that one, taking him to the green, and the green flag is out for the 2021 SARG Superspeedway Series, beginning here at Daytona with the Daytona 200. And straight away, that jump there by Garrett Maines, not bad, but there are a couple issues, as you're seeing. You mentioned it, Michael. A couple guys having some connection issues, and it looks like Hoff up there in that top lane. He's just going to stay top. He's telling guys to go around him, it sounds like, in that race chat. So early on, one of the top contenders from last season having to deal with some adversity here.
Oh, yeah, absolutely not what he wants to see right now. Hopefully he can get his connection settled out. Down the back straightaway, Lucas Cram pushing that number 1 machine further into the lead there. Garrett Maines, he's going to try to lead the first lap, but we all know Lucas Cram won't be content running second. As I say that, he pulls to the outside lane that is currently formatting, and it looks like Lucas Cram is going to lead this lap.
The defended champ starts out strong, as you're mentioning, leading the opening lap of the new season. He's got a good push out there in that 24 from Nick Olson. Olson and Cram, along with a host of other drivers in the series, really masters, Michael, of knowing how much they can push the cars to the limit. Of course, the difference with trucks, now switching over to these Cup cars, is the Cup cars have a little bit less of a leash when it comes to being sucked up to somebody due to those higher oil temps.
Yeah. That's another thing these cars are going to have to look out for, too, is their oil temperatures. Temperatures in general, they do not want to get, I believe it's above 230. At about 230 is when these cars will start to lose power, and you'll feel it.
Oh, you could go higher than that. It's more like 280 pushing 300 for these cars.
I was trying to remember what Clint Boyer said back in the esports thing.
Right.
But yeah, and as you can see, just on the outside lane, it's still a good battle. Most of these plate tracks, like we've seen at Talladega and Daytona, the outside lane is good on the straightaways, but it's the inside lane that really gets the momentum in the corners. But it's all going to come down to how many cars we have pushing one lane, and who's willing to actually push their car or push the car in front of them. Who's got the guts to keep right on their back bumper.
Yeah, and you'll see that a lot with these guys, like you're talking about. Who's got the guts? Who wants to make the moves? And you mentioned a little bit there, as the cars are gritting, there is a very well-diverse difference of strategies within this series. Of course, we mentioned you will get a stage at lap 40 that will be a halfway point. Stage points are on the line there, folks. It goes out the 10-1. Top 10 drivers do get stage points, so some guys approach that a bit differently compared to others. It's always interesting to watch. And we talked about fuel window a little bit too. I know with the trucks, the fuel load was about 20 laps at max. We'll have to see where these Cup cars fall. Obviously, vehicles being a bit different, you may give or take a couple laps. Usually they try to set it away where you have to make at least that one pit stop in the stage. And so far early on here, as we get ready to start lap 5, still 2x2. Everybody's kind of sorted out. It seems like they're playing nice to start the season, and kind of everybody being patient. You mentioned it, being patient early here and trying to pick their spots, Mike.
Absolutely. We're riding on board with Stephen Gale right now. You can see how quickly he can just suck up to the back of the 64 of Brett Murphy, but then has to let out of the throttle or drag the brake so he doesn't run into the back of him. As a driver, it gets so frustrating when you're stuck in a pack like this, because you have nowhere to go, and you just want to get to the front. You want to pass the cars in front of you. It gets so frustrating, but you've got to suppress that frustration. You got to stay focused, stay patient, and know that your time will come when the time arises.
No doubt, Michael. And these guys, they know when to push it. They know when to create that kind of third lane, although at Daytona, obviously, A little bit tougher than Talladega, but they do find a way to do it. Kind of some of those guys from last season that were kind of the leaders of that. Really, you look at a guy back there in the '88 like Clint Spillman right now, sitting in 7th. He was one of those that was not afraid to get up there and create some action if he felt like it was the proper time. Obviously, Lucas Graham, Nick Olson, as mentioned, those were a couple guys that were in it last season. Doesn't look like they're at least in it this season. Connor Horn was one of the big ones in that. And then I know Alex Bell, who did finish 4th last season in the points, he is in an off-track role as more of a race official for the series now. So that kind of creates a situation where maybe you got some new guys that will have to kind of be the Pied Pipers of that third line. Oh, a little bit of contact early up front. That's Nick Olson into the wall.
We got a wreck. And we got
the big one early.
It's the big wreck. Big wreck happening in the back right here. We've got cars all over the racetrack right now. I think Gavin Jones was involved, I think. Look back here. Nick Olson was just right in the middle of it. He kind of started that one, and our first caution of the night is out. I think that 24 car is done.
Well, and thankfully, Michael, these guys do get fast repairs to work with. That's right. They get one fast repair with this series, more so because of the volatility of Superspeedway racing. It makes sense to kind of grant them one. And, guys try to, at least for the most part, hang on to that. But to your point, Nick Olson, that 24, boy, he took a beating. That was some very banged-up cars very quickly.
Absolutely. Garrett Maines leads them to the caution flag. We are under caution here. We're going to take a look and see at what happened. I believe it started with the 24 machine in turns 1 and 2. And we're going to take a look back at it now.
Yeah, definitely, as you mentioned, Olson had looked like a little bit of contact somewhere along the lines right there. And just had got up in the wall and couldn't keep it off the wall at that point.
Yep, I see it right here. We're going to look at it right here. He's going through the corner here. He gets into the back of the 44, but the car behind him, that white machine, I don't remember who it was, just got into the back of him ever so slightly. He was just a little too close, and then just the wreck ensued after that.
That'd be the 15 at Robbie Lyons, and early on, and then you see the cars just splatter everywhere after that. And that mid-pack, a couple cars smoking will obviously be updating how things are shaking out in terms of people taking pit stops and not. But Michael, Lyons right there highlighting early on how careful you need to be really going into some of these corners when you're on the back of somebody. That wasn't really a big-time bump from Lyons. That wasn't obviously a potential bump of any sort, but all it took was that little touch right there in the wrong spot going into those corners, and all of a sudden somebody's on the wall and you get that big accident.
Oh yeah, and keep an eye on the cameras here. Yes, this was a big accident. Some cars even actually had to come to a full complete stop in order to avoid getting into the accident there, and sometimes that's what it takes.
It is, and early on, it looks like Nick Olson mentioned that 24 was pretty caught up in that one, and he is a lap down now, Michael. We'll see if he can work back from that. I have to see if he had to tow it. He may have been in that situation. If so, that's always the roughest here in the Superspeedway series, having to be able to, tow out of the wreck, if you will. Despite having the fast repair, if you can't make it down the pit road by yourself, you're at least going to lose a lap, if not a couple.
Going to ride on board with the number 38 machine is Sean Al as he gets through this wreck. You'll see the wreck starts happening in front of him right there. He's already on the brakes hard, but you don't want to lock your tires up. He gets a little bit on the apron, and his car starts sliding sideways because of the banking, and his car just comes to a complete stop as he sees all the cars in front of him. Smart move there on the 38 machine to stop before getting into the accident.
Oh, and Michael, just hearing over the race chat, what actually might have led to that incident was the fact that Nick Olson blew it up. That's why the contact was made between him and Lyon. And that would explain why he immediately pretty much had to stop after the wreck and go straight to pit road, tow it. And we had just come off talking about watching those temps, right? The leash was a little bit shorter, definitely compared to those trucks. And early on, you're experiencing with those trucks, folks. I mean, you could be on somebody's bumper, good, 2, 3, almost 4 laps if you manage it right. Really just pushing hard. But with these cup cars in this package, the high aero package, You cover up that front grille very quickly, those temps will rise, and if you're not careful, you will get into danger territory before you realize it. It sounds like, unfortunately, that may be what happened there to Mr. Olson. He was trying to push Lucas Cram, to the lead.
Absolutely, and that's a very tough break. We didn't really. Maybe that would explain why I saw a puff of smoke before.
Yep.
Why we saw the puff of smoke right before it happened. So that that would explain pretty much why that happened in such a hurry. And when you blow up in front of everybody, there's not really anywhere to go. So as we're keeping an eye on our leader here, we do have the 1 to go signal. This. I like this camera right here. This is a good camera. From the other end of the back straightaway, looking at the cars coming at you. That's one of the best camera angles. I'm telling you guys, I'm having so much fun with this here. I'm hoping to bring all of you guys out there some good views and some good angles of all the exciting action here in the SARG Superspeedway series.
Michael, like a kid in the candy shop right now with all his new tricks and toys here with the TV broadcast, so that's always fun. As we work out of this first caution, we'll be coming to the line to start lap 11. Out of it looks like just about everybody pitted right there on the lead lap, either for damage or to get some of that fuel. We mentioned the window was kind of about, maybe 20 laps, give or take, depending on how the difference is between these Cup cars and the trucks on the limited fuel. Out of the pit roads, though, it was Lucas Cram, that 44, winning the battle off Garrett Maines, who had been leading all the way back to third, right behind Cram, and we were under green here after the first caution. Daytona 200 and the SARG Superspeedway Series Race 1 of 2021. Cram and Maines, look at that jump, Michael. Look at the push here by Maines behind Cram.
Absolutely. You see it happening. The two-car tandem, you can usually get that going right on the start if you can stay behind somebody, but then it comes down to temperatures as your car gets up to speed. You can do that right away, but once you get into fourth gear, your temperatures will start to raise. As you see the one go to the outside, but nobody goes with them.
Yeah, I have that line's got stacked back up behind them. They got such a big jump out there. There's really a moment as you're seeing everybody finally start to get up to them 2 by 2 now. Maines will take the lead on that outside lane. But Cram in that bottom lane right now with the advantage. You see these guys getting a bit squirrely. Still adjusting to the high aero package. And Michael, you talked about following a guy. You get, on that inside line, your third, fourth car in line, you're kind of boxed in. And how tough is it as a driver kind of keep things straight, especially when guys are banging on you, and you got the side draft in effect?
Well, and here's the thing. About that, it's frustrating. Being on the inside is not really where you want to be, especially when you're behind like 3 or 4 cars on the inside lane. And as an experience, you cannot really see where the yellow line is when you're going off into the corners, because you can't really see it out your front windshield. So sometimes you'll see these cars go into the corner and they'll end up hitting that yellow line, or whatever, and either pushing up the track or just getting getting squirrely and loose, because it's really hard to see where that yellow line is when you're down below, because the car in front of you also is moving around left and right. So it makes it 10 times more difficult, but you've just got to stay focused. That's the main thing about running these races, is to stay focused and try not to get on the yellow line and get your car all squirrely like that.
A lot of folks will say the big key, to your point, here in super speedway racing to be successful is to have that laser sharp focus, especially in those situations. And guys like Lucas Cram, Clint Spillman, some of these others, they will definitely highlight that throughout this season. Right now, Cram's still in the lead in this one as we get ready to come to lap 14. Oh, there's contact. It's the 52, Stephen Gale, and there's another huge wreck this time in the tri-oval.
Absolutely. We got cars diving down the grass in the pit road here. That looked like a bad bump on the inside lane, just sent somebody straight up into the wall. Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, it's 52, Stephen Gale getting that bad bump as you're talking about, as they're just getting ready to come into that tri-oval. Obviously, you'll go back and we'll find that one here and see kind of what happened.
Yeah, Jeremy Jones running around the apron smoking. And that's the bad sign for anybody who just recently came in to get their quick repair, too. Is, that big wreck happened. Hopefully everyone was able to avoid it, as Lucas Cram is our race leader right now. As you see him bringing him slow down the back straightaway. We're going to go ahead and take a look and see at what happened. But that was just out of the blue. We didn't expect that one.
Yeah, looking back at it as we get ready to watch it here, Michael, looks like just some unfortunate interaction there between Christopher Tate there and Gale. I don't think anything was intentional. It was just unfortunately as they were getting ready to come in that tri-oval and they were coming out turn forward, just that weird interaction between the bumpers. And unfortunately, got a lot of cars in that one, as you talk about, including namely the pole sitter, Garrett Maines. Nowhere to go in that one. He just was an innocent bystander, as were a lot of people in this second caution of the day.
Oh yeah, Clint, and I'll tell you a lucky guy, and that was Clint Spillman. He was the when the 52 of Stephen Gale turned up, he was lucky to not get involved in that one.
Oh
He was
yeah,
able to drive right by it. And most of these cars actually able to just kind of drive through it a little bit there, but the 48 machine was unlucky there. If I can
yeah.
find him, there he is. Stop moving.
To your point, though, Michael Spillman in that scenario, he is what we call the close the eyes and pray. I mean, when you're in that scenario, you're either going to get absolutely drilled or you're just going to magically go through it. And somehow Spillman found a way to get through that one pretty much unscathed.
Absolutely. We're going to have to ride on board with somebody here. That was absolutely incredible.
Go to the 25, I believe, of Kyle Manger right there. That might be a good onboard look.
Let's take a look. We'll ride on board the cockpit of the 25 machine and see exactly what he saw from his own eyes, pretty much. As you see him running about mid-pack, dragging the brake a little bit. Car in front of him blinks just a little bit there. He's not really expecting anything. And next thing you know, bam, right up, and he just turns down, and he just drives it pretty much through the grass. Thank God Daytona's got that AstroTurf now, so it didn't destroy the front end of that car. But man, that was an incredible drive there by that 25 machine.
That's what we call the quick twitch reflexes, folks, to be able to read and react to that in a split second. Not only that, Michael, he had to thread the needle getting into that grass because, folks, if you clip down too far, especially coming towards pit lane right there, if you get into the wrong area, you will get a black flag for unsafe pit entry. So, to Major's skills right there, being able to avoid that as well as avoid the wreck and just send it through the grass and come out the other side still in one piece.
Absolutely, and that's another thing too. Not only that, but going through the grass, there's no grip in there. So he was probably at least off the gas the entire time he was there, not adding any type of throttle to it, input into it at all, just to keep that car from turning up into the wall or turning back down onto pit road.
No doubt about it, Michael.
Well, I guess this eliminates the call of possibly having enough gas to make it to the end of the stage.
It could still get interesting. We're still not quite at that 20-lap window that I know for sure they'd be good at. We're going to have to monitor that. As mentioned, folks, as a reminder, you will get a stage break here as a get to lap 41, the completion of 40. Stage points will be on the line for that, so you will see things pretty much heat up, probably more so than what they've been, which is crazy to say, but some of these guys really value those stage points because, Michael, obviously when you get eyeing towards a playoff picture and trying to be within the top 10, top 12 of points, you've got to capitalize when there's points on the line in those stages. And
going back to look at it, well, not now, but when I was looking at it before, the bad bump there was by Christopher Tate, and I know it probably wasn't on purpose or anything like that. It's just like I said, where if you get too close to somebody and the car in front of you just has to suddenly check up, that's just going to spell disaster. Lights are out on the pace car. Pace car's coming down pit lane. We are getting ready to retake the green flag. We're back underway here at Daytona.
Hitting lap 17 now as we get back underway, as you mentioned, from our second caution of the day in this one. And that's going to be Lucas Cram getting another solid push. He's getting that push from the 54 Christopher Tate that we just mentioned. On the outside, though, Clint Spillman, the gentleman to avoid that craziness, he's looking to move his way up. And with him, Derek Newsom in that 50. Newsom, Michael, had some of the toughest luck I have seen in this series yet. I mean, there is probably a majority of the races he wound up in the air more so than on the track, unfortunately. He's looking to obviously change that fate coming into tonight. And so far has avoided the chaos and finds himself in the top 5.
Absolutely. Getting down the back straight or into turn 4, coming out turn 4 here. Lucas Cram still with the lead. Only have a two cars on the outside. That's Clint Spillman, and I can't see who that other car is behind him.
It'd be Newsom in that 50.
Yep, Derek Newsom up there. The two cars able to hang good for now, but think most of these drivers have now decided that they needed to settle down a little bit, and they're starting to run about single file.
And just to update everybody where we are, we've got two cars right now currently not on the lead lap. Jacob Locklear in the 84. He's currently 2 laps down. Nick Olson from that first wreck with blown engine. He is currently 1 lap down in 26. He's out there riding around.
He got one of his laps back.
Did get one of his laps back, and just trying to make sure he stays safe. Other than that, 25 cars still on the lead lap here. The 27 that started, nobody officially out of this race. Or, excuse me, Jacob Locklear did retire. He is the only car officially out, but other than that, 26 of the 27 still on the track and running.
Absolutely. Locklear, is he on pit road or is he behind the wall?
He is behind the wall officially. I just noticed that. I was about to say he was, waiting on maybe it was repairs. No, he is officially behind the wall. Unfortunately for him, probably one of the first victims of being involved in both of those wrecks. As you kind of mentioned when that second caution came out. Definitely some guys tiptoeing out there and probably either without the fast repair or with more damage than they would like to have at this point.
Absolutely. Keeping an eye here on these front cars. Those two on the outside lane are keeping up pace with the leaders, but how is Derek Newsom's temperatures getting? As soon as his temperatures start getting high, you might see him back out, try to fall back to the end of this line here and just maybe try to run there, but got to keep an eye on your temperatures. That could be your unwanted fast repair use if you blow that engine.
Yes, sir, Michael. Great point. Now you see the separation of packs as well, as we got this front pack with let's see here. About looks like 13 cars in it. Robbie Lyons and Mitchell Muma back there kind of holding down 12th and 13th. And then you get to 14th, and it's one of the newcomers, and Alex Forget. Berube. So interesting there, but a guy
I was gonna let you call him that.
But no, he's out there a little bit of damage. So he might be trying to save his fast repair in that 19. Didn't quite get the good looks to see if he's involved in both wrecks, but either way, you got Brendan Hoff behind him, who obviously one of the top 3 in points last year, holding down that 3rd spot by the end of it all. And Hoff was one of the most consistent drivers when it came to just scoring points, Michael. It was on the top of the point standings for the longest time, especially in that regular season, despite not getting a win until the last race before the playoffs. He had found a way to really plant himself consistently up in that top 5 and keep battling for, laps led, stage points, and just coming short a couple times of the win up until that very, very interesting cutoff race before the playoffs.
Absolutely. And another thing too, as you see the 9 car peek out. That's what I was trying to say. I was going to say dip out, peek out to get some air to the nose of that number 9 machine. There must be running a little hot. They're keeping up with this pack just a little bit there, trying to probably just try to keep their distance in case something happens. But also to point out, Brandon seems to have gotten his internet to stabilize a little bit. As up front, we have a battle for the lead, still side by side up here, Lucas Cram and Clint Spillman.
How about this outside line? Get a little bit more help finally. Derek Newsom has done a fantastic job managing his temps in that 50 behind Spillman. And it's going to be Robbie Lyons jumping to the outside saying, hey, I'm tired of riding around on this big line on the inside. Let's see if we can help these guys make some hay on that top lane. And, Michael, this is a common theme in Superspeedway racing here on iRacing, that if you get enough good cars out there on those upper lines, you could kind of, despite not necessarily having the numbers advantage over the inside line, you could find ways to keep the momentum and really challenge that inside line and at times overtake them. That's kind of what you're seeing now with a little bit of a shuffle at 25 of Kyle Manger. He is another guy from last season that had just some of the worst luck. Unfortunately, he got bumped out of the playoffs. They were kind of at the buzzer, and he's looking to have a better season and contend in the playoffs and build off what some of the good runs he had last season. He won the finale for SARG, despite necessarily competing for the championship, had a fantastic win in the finale, and he's looking to keep that momentum going in that 25.
Absolutely. We saw the 50 car duck out. Must have had to get some air to to the nose of that machine, as you see things are starting to heat up just a little bit more here, and we bring our talks back to fuel, and leading a pack, you waste more fuel leading than you do behind somebody, and we're not still 100% sure if these drivers can make it all the way to the end of this stage on fuel. But that's going to be something else to see too, especially if we happen to get more cautions. Now we know that's what Nick Olson is hoping for here, is at least another caution to get him back on the lead lap, as it looks like Jeremy Jones has returned to the racetrack, but he is about 5 laps down.
Yeah, Jeremy Jones with some issues. Unfortunately, you mentioned 5 laps down. Jones, another guy that has just suffered some bad breaks going back to last season as well, had shown some speed. And the good thing is, Michael, here with the Superspeedway series, these guys know there's going to be some volatility. Obviously, people will tell you it is big wiggle there from Derek Newsom. I saw that in that 50 trying to get into the corner and maybe struggling a little bit with those temps like you're talking about, because he's trying to find his groove there on the outside lane, that 4th car in the outside lane.
Absolutely, he is, and that was for sure close, to say the least, in that number 50 machine. Keeping an eye on him, that was a heck of a wiggle going in. I'm not sure if he might have just kind of missed the corner a little bit there and turned a little too sharply, or something happened. But that was a hold your breath moment for sure.
No doubt. You see that second pack that we were talking about is kind of melded now with this front pack. So Forget, Berube, and Hoff did a great job, that 9 and 19, getting back up there. And they've added a few more cars on the tail end of this pack now. We're up to about 16 or so cars. He's got 39 back there of James DeCarlis kind of holding up the rear, as well as Sean Howell behind him. And it looks like Christopher Tate has fallen off the pack just a little bit back in 18th, Michael. He was up there at one point second as we got underway after the second caution restart. But we'll have to see what's going on with him, whether it's some issues temp-wise or maybe he's just playing a little bit more strategy, knowing these guys might not make it the entire way on fuel to the stage.
It could be that, or like you said, it could be temperatures. Not entirely sure. As you said, yeah, Christopher Tate has fallen off the pack, and he's kind of just riding out back there now by himself. He's really in danger, because if he hasn't already, he's pretty much lost the draft, and they're going to just drive away from him.
Unfortunately, got an update on Christopher Lewis in the 95. He is taking it behind the wall right now. He has fallen back to 25th, 2 laps down. We'll have to see if he returns or not. If not, his day will be done early in that 95.
Coming up on a lapped machine up front here.
This is where it always gets dicey, Michael. Sometimes the communication is not great, but it looks like that 64 Britt Murphy is going to stay high up there and just kind of let this pack go around him. That's usually the proper call for a lot of these drivers.
Absolutely. Now Nick Olson's got to hurry up too, because he's going to want to pass Brett Murphy to get into the lucky dog position.
Yes, he is, no doubt about it. And with the way the pit stops may play out, he may not have an opportunity necessarily to take the wave around either. So, see how that goes. Up front, though, Lucas Cram, Garrett Baines still holding strong on that inside lane, Michael, now as we begin lap 29 here. That outside lane has had some problems trying to get connected and stay connected, it looks like.
Yeah, and I'm looking here at Nick Olson. Nick Olson's actually going to be in jeopardy of going a second lap down. He is only in turn 4, as the leaders are now halfway down the back straightaway going into turn 3.
Olson does not want to have that happen to your point, probably hoping for a caution here pretty quickly. But with these guys starting to single file out a bit more, it may not necessarily happen. Things have calmed down after those first couple events. These guys have kind of figured out their limits a little bit better. But up in that top lane still, it's Derek Newsom now has been shuffled to the front.
There was a car in the back here that's just suddenly lost control. I believe it was Mitchell Muma in the 34 machine. He just got a little loose in the tri-oval there.
Yeah, and we've seen that a couple times, to your point, where we've had some of these big wiggles, guys trying to maybe break a bit hard because they're not realizing the runs they're getting, or maybe their temps are up too quickly and they don't realize that. There's a lot of different things that could be possible, as the lead pack will now go around Jeremy Jones in that 81, who's back off of pit road, but he is standing at 7 laps down, trying to get out there and get some of those laps. Getting closer now as we get towards the end of the stage is starting to shape back up 2x2. As mentioned, Derek Newsom out there on that top lane, getting some good help from the 15 of Robbie Lyons, and also out there joining them now in the 26, Derek Stanley. Haven't had to say his name yet this race, but he's worked himself into a good spot. Stanley, another driver from last season that at times would put himself in the right spots like this, Michael, coming towards the stage or coming towards the end of the race, but always seemed like he got the bad break and either wound up in the wreck or one way or another just didn't capitalize on some of his position.
Look at the power move on the outside. Derek Newsom trying to take the lead away from Lucas Cram. Got a bit of an outside line going. We are 9 laps now away from the end of the stage, and we should start seeing the intensity kick up now. So what do you say, Tyler? For the first time this season, you want to do a crank it up?
Hey, go ahead by all means, Mr. Norman. Fire it away.
We're cranking it up here at Daytona.
And after that opportunity to hear these cars roar here at Daytona, back here with you, Michael Norman, Tyler Riggs, Daytona 200, SARG Superspeedway Series, and boy, it has really developed up front there, Michael. You got a couple groups now split out from the pack as Derek Newsom will jump into the lead for the first time this race, at least on that bottom line. Gets a great push out there from Robbie Lyon and Kyle Major, and gets in front of Lucas Cram now. And as we wind down the laps of this first stage, now on lap 35, just 6 to go, this front pack, this front 5 has separated themselves pretty good.
Yeah, I was wondering about that. These cars started racing. It should have brought them all together, but this front 5 has really separated themselves from the rest of the pack here. A new leader, Derek Newsom, finally able to get around Lucas Cram, and we'll see how long Lucas stays behind him.
And we have seen under that crank it up as well, a couple single cars pitting here and there. Brett Murphy, Quinn Gingrich, Matthew Oliveira back there have all taken a pit stop. And so we'll have to see if anybody else decides to pit here towards the end of this first stage. And kind of how that sparses out. Obviously, you don't want to be on the wrong end of that strategy call, Michael. If you are going to pit, you don't want to be the lone person or two out. It is important to pit with the group and stay in that group here.
Absolutely. You definitely want to pit with friends so you're not just running by yourself. Down the back straightaway they go. Let me find the camera angle. Oh, there it is. You can see the gap between the cars. This almost reminds me of the old days in NASCAR racing where we'd have like the 5-6 car breakaway followed by the rest of the pack. So then this is some good racing, whether you guys believe it or not. Single file racing isn't always bad racing, as they're coming to 4 laps left in the first stage.
Yeah, and really monitoring that second pack, because you feel like if they're going to drop off as big as they did, it's probably to get single filed out for some pit stops, but nobody's pulled that trigger yet. The second pack right now led here by James DeCareless in that 39 up in front. Looks like he's got a decently clean 39 car right there, so we'll see if he'll be the guy making the call or not. Usually it takes that first driver or two within the pack to dive down to pit road before you get some people falling.
Absolutely, keeping an eye on the backpack for us. Gonna look back up here as you see the one car of Garrett Maines is gonna pull to the outside and try to get the lead back, or get to the. Oh,
And
here they
we
come!
go.
Here comes the 44 and others down pit road. Lucas Graham.
Cram.
Oh,
Oh, Cram slides. Saves
not
it though.
that was a good save. Now the question is if he was able to stay down at pit road speed doing that and not get a black flag.
Yeah, Michael, that's a good point. A lot of these guys, we saw it last season, you can't get bit by not being careful enough getting into pit road. Getting that speeding penalty really kills you, especially in a situation like this where pretty much after you get done pitting, you're hitting the end of the stage almost. So you got to be real careful. Looks like only a few had stayed out there. Garrett Maines, Newsom, Manger as well. And then that second pack, you got Muma, Gavin Jones. Now it'll be the second group up front here coming in.
Comes Derek Newsom down pit road this time by, and others are staying out as well.
Not as many pitting there as I thought you were going to get pitting. You also had McDonald right there, Ben McDonald, and then Forget Berube coming in with him. So about 3-4 actual cars. That was a bit of a tinier group.
Yep, 2 laps to go in the stage. Can Garrett Maines pull out a strategy here and be able to actually win this stage?
Well, not only that, but do it without pitting. He's got to make it back all the way around to pit road if he is to stay out all the way. But Michael, something that's sticking out in my mind between Maines and Manger there is that both of these guys were not necessarily leading their respective packs. They were on the back. Oh, and here they go. Coming down pit road now. Will they get down the right speeds? Looks like they're clean. Not seeing a lot of brake smoke, and they're clean.
Absolutely. As they're coming, Clint Spillman stays out. This 4-car pack right here will be trying to lead him back to the line. Oh, a little bit of bump there from Clint Spillman. Going to take it to the inside. Spillman with the lead. The 38 car just put his car right where he shouldn't have and somehow made it work, as I think the 34 car had to back out of that to avoid wrecking. Either that or he's out of gas.
Mitchell Muma might be out of gas. Yeah, he's saying that he thought the caution was going to come out at the end of 40. He is out of gas. That's breaking big right here because he would have secured some really good stage points in that.
Oh, Clint Spillman's out of gas.
Now, Spillman's out of gas, folks. This is just coming to the stage. Sean Howell now in that 38 leading them. Looks like Sean Howell might win the stage here. As diving down last second, Gavin Jones dives down at the stage break. It's going to be Sean Howell.
Sean Howell takes the stage. Caution flag is still not out.
Well, they got to wait for the top 10 to cross the finish line, so that's kind of the story here. And for Howell, this is not necessarily wants to be, because you still got guys that are in pit road. There's still a scramble to try to get, to that first 10. So Howell could be out an extra lap more than he wants to be.
Howell is slow on the back straightaway. It could be to him his way of saying there's the caution.
And finally it comes out.
Caution flag finally is out. We're not sure if the 38's even out of gas. He could be out of gas coasting, and we're not entirely sure because he's going to the apron now. He very well could be out of gas. He's slowing down. He's only at 70 miles an hour right now going through turns 3 and 4.
And so with that first stage ending here, this is the top 10. It'll be Sean Howell taking the stage. Gavin Jones, despite diving to pit road late there, comes down. He'll get second in the stage. Lucas Strayer third. Mitchell Buma in that 34 coasted into the pit road. He'll take fourth in the stage. Manger fifth. Cram sixth. Hoff seventh. Newsom eighth. DeCareless in that 39 ninth. And Stephen Gale in the 52 10th. So we'll have to see if that will be official top 10 or not.
Sean Howell is officially out of gas, getting pushed there. I believe that's by Christopher Tate, trying to get him to help him get to pit road.
What a stage finish. All sorts of craziness there coming to the line. Guys, I mean, folks, they played it just to win the stage. I talked about how some of these guys will prioritize those stage points, some won't, and you saw that right here. People playing it safe, others with the big risk. So
let's go ahead
wild stuff.
Let's go ahead and pull him up here and talk to him real quick and see if we can't get a word from our stage winner, Sean Howell.
I want it.
Hey, Sean, Tyler, Michael up here in the booth, you guys.
Yeah, 10-4, I got you.
So how about that crazy stage
Oh,
coming to the line? You were the last man standing. How'd that play out
we
right there?
cut that really close on gas there. I know everyone. I topped off before there, and we barely made it on gas. And I thanks Chris Tate there for getting me back on the pit road. I ran out entering 3 there, but
Yeah, we saw you go to the apron, obviously, and what were you thinking? Is you won the stage, but then all of a sudden you got to wait on the 10th driver to get past the line. Were you worried there's going to be an extra lap thrown in there, or were you just kind of playing it cool at
no,
that point?
I think once I passed the line, I think that was official that I was gonna get that spot. But I mean, I just was hoping I can make it back to pit road and didn't have to tow. That was the main thing. But
Give us an
that
idea what the fuel mileage is like out there. About how many laps can you actually push it on a tank of gas?
I'm not sure when that second caution flew. We were I think lap 17ish, so we were cutting that pretty close. And then I topped off. Some of the guys I was talking to did not top off, and they were communicating what their fuel was and what my fuel was. I was the best out of the group there on fuel, and they were cutting it pretty close. I was pushing Clint there, and he ran out slightly before me, and there's a lot of different fuel strategies going on there with topping off and not topping off.
Well, and Sean, I imagine too, after you came out of that caution, you mentioned you topped off. I'm sure you riding in that second pack pretty much the entire way. There was you just monitoring your fuel pretty much every lap, correct?
Yeah, once it took me a lap because we didn't know how close we were. And once I realized how close we actually were, I just started trying just to max save fuel there. And yeah, once I realized how close it actually was going to be, just saving fuel back there.
Well,
Yes, sir.
Congratulations, Sean. You are unofficially the points leaders right now here in
That's a change.
SARG Super Speedway Series. Well, enjoy it, man. Good luck in the second stage, and hope to see you up here again, maybe in Victory Lane.
That's the plan. Thank you, guys.
Now, of course, stage one winner, Sean Howell, he'll take the first stage of the season here in SARG for the 2021 season in these Cup cars. And, I mean, that was just what a chaotic finish right there to that stage, Michael. I haven't seen anything like it in a long time on the fuel strategy. I warned you guys pre-race that they will stick this fuel close enough to where it will get dicey under these green flag conditions. Definitely provides an added element there of mystery.
Absolutely. As we're keeping an eye on things here. Still under caution. Looks like Garrett Main. Oh, Lucas Cram is going to go back to the lead, maybe. Oh no, it's Luke. It's Garrett Mains. That's what it was. Garrett Mains back to the lead here. He wasn't able to give us a precise talk about the how much laps we had, but he was right too. If you could talk about it from lap 17 to lap 40, or should we just say 39? 39 to 40. So how long is that about? How many laps?
It stretched it over that 20 lap mark by about 2 or 3 laps right there. So, and that, of course, is with a lot of fuel saving going on and fuel monitoring. Not only that, being back in that pack a bit more. So, we mentioned how with the trucks, it was at max about that 20-21 lap range. You had to pit. Sure enough, right within that range again. So now we know for the second stage, if it stays green here, you're probably going to be looking at, towards the back half there of the 60s in terms of your laps for these guys to really hit that pit window again. And Michael, something else that this has created now with how being able to stretch it out like that, there is a host of drivers a lap down that pitted a bit earlier that could not get their lap back now because the leaders obviously didn't pit quick enough. That'd be Matthew Oliveira back there in 17. You got Jake McMillan in 21, unfortunately, in this situation. Bert Murphy, Christopher Tate, Quinn Gingrich, Brady Floyd, all trapped a lap down due to that scenario. And then, of course, Nick Olson trying to recover from his earlier woes. You had mentioned he was worried because now all of a sudden he had to catch some of these lap cars. Well, due to how it went, he unfortunately is 2 laps down. We're back underway here after stage 1 on lap 45. Garrett Mains taking that lead on the inside, getting a big push there from Kyle Manger. Daytona 200 here in the SARG Superspeedway Series.
very odd start there, as only the first 3 rows are double file. Everybody after that was single file. I know that iRacing sometimes does that, but it was a pretty odd start, like you said. Now we should start seeing some interesting racing here now. Like you said, got about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cars off the lead lap that are still in contention. I'm pretty sure that Nick Olsen is still in contention, even though he's 2 laps down, but he still has a race car that's up to speed, I'm pretty sure, if he can stay with the draft.
Yeah, that's just going to be something to monitor, see if Olsen can get his laps back or not. Then, as you're talking about, can these guys from 17th on work their way back on the lead lap or not? So to update that, 27 trucks started, or cars, excuse me, not trucks, started this race. We are down to 16 on the lead lap with, it looks like, 25 of the 27 still on track. Christopher Lewis, Jacob Locklear has both those drivers retired earlier in this race, already about 20, 30 laps down a piece. So it's been interesting in that sense. Had those first 2 cautions in the stage before the stage break that really kind of separated the field, Michael, and that's where we're seeing some of these guys now, as you can see, it's split up into 2 groups again here. You got about, looks like 10 drivers up there. No, excuse me, 9 drivers. No, 8. Sorry, I can't count.
You've got 10 drivers up in the front pack, and then from about 11th on back are the ones back here running about single file. So you got 10 drivers in the lead pack up there.
And you know, some of these guys too, back in that second pack, still a little banged up. Olsen, being 2 laps down, is back in that pack. But you think, Michael, maybe they're trying to hold those faster pairs if they haven't already used them till maybe the last possible second here?
Yeah, very possible. Just trying to stay in the back. You know, it's still a little early. They're already going 3 wide up there, so they're definitely going to have to keep it clean. But
yeah,
something we haven't been able to do yet, because these caution laps are really short here. Most of these cars, you see them actually gaining back ground now, trying to catch the front leader here. We have yet to go to a commercial break, but we're gonna wait to do that because the action's really starting to heat up in this front pack.
Yeah, look at this lead right here, going for the lead. Jordan Clark at that 71 made a bold move to the outside. Didn't get any help though. Now there's a lap car, yes, in the way coming. It's the 41 of Lucas Strayer. Oh, it's going to get dicey. 4 wide almost. No, they're working their way through it. Clark had to majorly check up that 71. He's going to lose a ton of spots. And look at that second pack, Michael, just swarmed right up to that front pack due to this major checkup.
Yeah, and that's what's going to happen. It's going to split this pack up again. Unfortunately, the lap car thought it would have been okay on the outside lane, but then they went 3 wide down the back straightaway, and he was just in the wrong place. So, unfortunately, can't blame the 41 out of that, because usually the outside lane's the lane to be in to get out of everybody's way. But you know, I guess it's kudos to these drivers for being able to get by him without wrecking.
Yeah, just wrong place, wrong time there for that move from Jordan Clark at that 71, to your point. Peeked outside, realized Strayer was there, and then at that point couldn't really, correct his move. There's nowhere to go, so just had to majorly check up. Combine these packs a bit, though, now, a little bit more than what they were. Garrett Baines or Lucas Graham at 1 and 44 have just stayed up front, though, pretty much all race. At 25, Kyle Manger as well, down on that bottom lane, doing a great job right now, pushing on Garrett Baines. How about the 19 of Alex Forget Berube in that 19 with front damage there? He's still got some flared fenders, it looks like, on those front left and right bumpers. He's still up there pushing strong.
Absolutely. And look at them trying to form a third lane again on the outside lane here. It's the second half of this race. We've got 31 laps to go. I guess for some of these drivers, 31's the go time. Not only that, but these cars are going to end up having to make another round of pit stops at least.
Yeah, it's been guys kind of filling out the process, to your point. Now you're starting to see that mid-pack get a little bit more dicey than what it was. Britt Murphy at 64 was the one stepped out to that third line. He finds a way to get it back down now to the outside line right above that 57 of Matthew Oliveira. Murphy and Oliveira competing for the lucky dog spots. They were up in this pack the lead pack, not necessarily on the lead lap, but they are side by side for that lucky dog. If a caution were to come out, Michael, sometimes that could cause some chaos. That could get dicey if these guys having their own kind of race within the race get a little too rowdy.
Absolutely. Keeping an eye on the digger cam here as you see the 38 machine go by. Oh, I saw a puff of smoke there. I think that was just a little bit of lag, but I thought we had another big one happening.
No, not quite yet. There is a little bit of connection issues along the mid-pack there, but looks like they've been sorted out. Up front, though, it's still Maine, still Cram, side by side almost, and the 25 of Manger doing a great job, still pushing on the bottom. And really, the outside just has not been able to get the advantage as much today as we thought probably was going to get. I think a lot of that, Michael, is that they just have not been as lined up as probably the inside line has been.
Oh, there we go.
And then there we go. In the back, there's a wreck. To your point, 48, Quinn Gingrich. He goes down to the inside. There's still no caution. And finally, the track official has thrown the caution. That's Alex Bell, the race official, throwing the manual caution there. Typically, they would not throw it. If I raced it, wouldn't throw it. But that a unique situation, Michael. You had saw it. Derek Newsom, that 50, is the one that got slung back up into the outside wall. The 48 of Gingrich getting slung to the inside.
Yeah, I think that was just another case of a bad bump there. Going to quickly go back and take a look at what happened here in the tri-oval with about less than 30 laps to go.
Fourth caution of the day, and Newsom was back there. They were towards the end of that back of the front pack, and yeah, it looks like Newsom and Gingrich just, as you mentioned, just a little bit of a bad touch side by side right there in the tri-oval. That's pretty much what caused that one. Everybody else doing a fantastic job to avoid that. It looks like Gingrich
Nick
and
Olson,
the only two.
If anybody deserves a good hands driver award, that's that number 24 car. We're going to take a look at this from his in-car camera. He just had to avoid this left and right. I wouldn't be surprised if he flat spotted any of his tires trying to avoid this. Right there in front, you see him. Everyone starts slowing down. He's a little bit late. Coming down. Slam on the brakes. Smooth turn to the left, turn to the right, and he missed it.
And boy, talk about the quick twitch, Michael. That's that good reaction right there to be able to control the speeds and really decipher where Newsom was going, because Newsom was obviously up in the wall. And Olsen had to figure out real quick in a split second right there, okay, does he go high, does he go low, where do you trust your gut? Olsen making the right call.
All right, well, we're under our fourth caution of the night. We're going to go ahead now, take that quick commercial break, and we'll be right back with the green flag.
ETE Reman is the world's best remanufacturer of transmissions for import and domestic cars and trucks. Based in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, our customers are repair shops, auto parts stores, dealerships, and distributors. And with 6 nationwide warehouses, we're where and when you need us. So when you're looking for a transmission that is like new, only better, instill confidence and install ETE Reman.
We're based out of West Monroe, Louisiana. We do custom t-shirts, racing. We'll do any shirt. We'll do schools, churches, fundraisers. We do a ton of event shirts, as you can see on our board here, all around our banner. Personalized, I mean, we'll do anything. It doesn't matter to us. We got the custom rugs. We use all the, top quality shirts, inks and everything, hoodies, hats. hats. We do embroidered hats, embroidered shirts. You know, just you can call us for anything. We do offer the bag and fold to where you can receive them and they're already labeled and tagged and bagged, ready to give out to your customer and stuff. So you just call us and just tell us, hey, this is what we're looking at doing, and if we're going to put the car on there, it is 125 quantity minimum. If it's without the car, it's 60 quantity minimum. That's strictly on the racing stuff. If it's a business or something, if you race on Texas shirts, you know, it's a little bit differently. You know, you can call us. It just depends on your quantity and ink color. Everything is hand drawn. I mean, everything. We don't Photoshop anything onto a shirt or anything like that. Everything that we go through, everything is drawn, and which is the reason for the art fees. We do have several graphic artists that draw for us, and you know, they're really good. So what we do is on any package that you do, we can mix and match. We can do any colors. You can do purple, red, blue, green, and do the rest black. It doesn't matter to us. With your design on there, we can do hoodies. We can do hoodies, long sleeve shirts, t-shirts, tank tops. It doesn't matter. I mean, just it's almost limitless what you can do, and you can put all that together in that package to make that minimum, you know, requirements. They can call us 318-278-7191, or they can email us at bulletproof.
Back here in the SARG Superspeedway Series, Race 1 of 2021 at Daytona, the Daytona 200. Michael Norman, Tyler Riggs with you here tonight, working out of our fourth caution of the race, third for non-stage cautions. And it's some interesting strategy going on, Michael. As we saw on the first stage, you can really stretch that fuel gap. This race will be restarting on lap 57. There has been a group of guys, most of the field, pitted a couple times during that caution. It looks like a lot of people topping off, trying to see if they can be the brave ones to stretch it here.
Absolutely, and they've got to hurry up and catch up in the gap here if they want to get back up here for when the green flag drops. We only got a couple of cars up here for that.
Yeah, Lucas Cram right now currently in the lead in that 44. He was one of the ones that did not top off. Green flag is back out. We are back underway here. To your point, look at this restart. A little kind of separated due to everybody getting that last top off and trying to get back up here. So be cramming that 44 leading the way. On the outside, Stephen Gale in that 52. Another driver that stayed out under that entire sequence after pitting the first time around. He's trying to lead that outside line and currently has not a lot of help as the inside line gets connected real quickly here.
Yep, and look and see as these cars fly down the back straight away. It's been all about gas in this race. It's been pretty much all about it. Whether they're going to have enough to make it, how much they need, topping off under caution, and it's pretty much been the talk of this Daytona 200.
Well, that's what makes this series so interesting. It's not just the skill to be able to survive a super speedway race. You have to factor in that pit strategy as well. It really adds a lot of layers, as you're seeing here tonight. Guys with just different MOs out there on some of these strategy calls, though. But the up front, Cram, Major, Lyons all doing a fantastic job on that bottom line. Mitchell Muma has rebounded from some of his issues, getting involved in some of those wrecks. He's currently P4, and Stephen Gale now fighting to stay in that top 5 as he's got Matthew Oliveira, who at one point was a lap down back in 17th. He's back on the lead lap, and he's trying to fight for a top 5 right.
Absolutely. Front 6 cars look to be front 5 cars, single file. It's about 6th and 7th place that are side by side back there, trying to get the outside lane going, but that's allowing these top 3 to even pull away just a little bit more.
Yeah, something we've seen tonight. The outside lane just has not been able to get as connected as it's been, probably wanting to most of the time with guys like Spillman, now Gill, and others. And that makes it tough, Michael, because these guys are used to making some pretty quick moves and making some quick decisions. And up front, it looks like Kyle Major going to kind of get Cram out of the way there, and Major will take the lead for the first time here tonight in that 25 car.
Absolutely. It seems to have done it with ease.
Oh, wrecking in turn 3. Caution out, big wreck in the back there.
Oh, my goodness. Derek Newsom is upside down, and that's going to be the end of some of these. And that's going to be the end of at least a 50 car today. As I think he used his quick repair from the previous accident. And here he is upside down in the grass, smoke coming out from his machine. And that's going to spell the end of his day.
And the pole sitter, Garrett Baines, gets involved in that one as well. He's got a crumple up car. Can't confirm he had already used his fast repair from an incident earlier, and that's going to be a tough break. Baines was up front a good chunk of this race, had just recently kind of got himself towards the back trying to figure out strategy. And that is a tough break. And for Derek Newsom, I could say, Michael, there was a bet earlier in the Discord. Will Derek Newsom be in the air of this race? Unfortunately, it is a yes.
Yeah. Unfortunately for that machine, but this does spell out, this does put a big smile on the face of that number 24. Depending on, with him not being in it, that's going to put him back on the lead lap with under 20 laps to go.
Yeah, it's a big story. Nick Olson, of course, one of the finishing. Michael, he may got a piece of it. We'll see if he actually does get his lap back. We'll see for sure. But that was just a violent wreck in turn 3 right there. Trying to see where that one started. Obviously, we mentioned Newsom on his roof. Just looks like.
I see what happened. As we'll see as he goes through the corner here. It's 3 wide. He gets on the apron a little bit, like he has to make a course right there. See him get loose on the apron, overcorrects, gets up into the side of the 12 car, and then just up into the wall. And that he brings a bunch of other cars behind him involved, and you see him just spinning like a top on his roof.
Yeah, when you saw the 26 there in the top lane, and Derek Stanley had a little bit of a wiggle in that 3 wide situation, Michael, and it looks like that's what caused that chain reaction between the 26, 12, and 50. And as you're mentioning, Derek Newsom definitely getting the worst end of it. Wound up turned into Beyblade there for a second, it looks like. Unfortunately.
Yep, there you go. Just down on his roof, spinning like a top.
Tough break for sure. And amidst the chaos, obviously, now this puts us in a spot where pretty much everybody has come down pit road and topped off on fuel because we are within that window now, approaching under 20 to go in this one. It should be gloves off, and it should be a full-on fight the rest of the way here, Michael, because fuel should not be a concern to you guys.
Keeping an eye, riding on board with the 24 machine. I do not think he got involved in that. I think he missed it. He went all the way down to the apron, and I do not think he got involved in that.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to see. They are discussing it. I can't confirm they're discussing it right now within the driver chat and trying to sort that out as you're talking about, trying to decipher if he actually got involved or not. Because with race control official for the series, Alex Bell, who finished 4th in points last season, he gets to make some of those calls and kind of help out in certain scenarios. Obviously, depending on how iRacing scores it, in a typical situation, Olsen may not get the lap back as you're talking about, but if the officials feel it's the other way, they can go ahead and give him the wave around, and it looks like, to your point, Olsen has gotten that lucky dog officially. So big break there for the 24, and with some of the issues of the other front runners, Garrett Baines, among others that qualified up there, Olsen looking to kind of get his way back up to the front.
Absolutely. We've got less than 20 laps to go. We've got 19 coming to 18 laps to go in the race. And if these drivers all came down pit road, which I think they did, don't quote me, but I think that they are good to go on gas.
I am definitely trying to double check here while we've got just a little bit more time to see if they did come down pit road.
Oh, think about it.
Oh,
really?
So Robbie Lyons, Lucas Cram, Stephen Gale all did not come down pit road yet off that
top
caution.
3. So the top three did not come down pit road. So they're going to be the ones that are on the edge. Everybody else should be good to go on fuel. If you can even just average a 20-lap run on gas, we're under 20 laps to go to the end of this race.
Interesting call, though, by Lyons, Cram, and Gale for sure. They got to be clutching it out at this point under these cautions. They must feel comfortable enough, though, Michael. But if you're Cram or Lyons up there, knowing, as you mentioned earlier in the broadcast, obviously being out front, not being part of the draft behind somebody, that's going to use up a little bit more of that fuel. So this will be an interesting situation to watch with the top 3 of Lyons, Cram, and Gale. Pace car is off after our 5th caution of the day. We're back green here. Robbie Lyons will take us to lap 63 out of 80 for the SARG Superspeedway series, and a great jump there by Lyons. That's going to allow Lucas Cram to be able to pull down, tuck in right behind him.
Now, it's not a good thing for Robbie Lyons right now to be leading. Remember, you use more fuel pulling this pack around this racetrack leading than you would if you were the second or third car in line.
And you got to think Lucas Graham now, Michael, to that point, probably likes the position he's in. Probably will be content here for at least a good 10 laps to kind of stick in line right there behind Lyons. As they're starting to single file out a little bit here. A bit of a surprise. You figure with some of these guys that had just pitted, everybody else beside Lyons, Graham, and Gale right there in the 52, as we talked about, pretty much good to go on fuel. So I wonder when, Michael, who's going to push the tempo on these guys? Is it going to be, Hoff or somebody like that challenges Lyons?
It's going to be Hoff. He's on the outside lane trying to rally a good run. Nobody wants to go with him right now. He fell to the back. You got to remember, Hoff fell to the back because of internet issues. He's got them resolved now, and here he is up here now trying to battle for the podium spot. And maybe even more, he's got a bit of an outside lane going now with the 38 of our stage winner, Sean Howe.
Yeah, Sean presents himself again in this race. Ooh, almost a bit of contact right there. And they avoid that, though. And Howe, to your point now, one of those guys that took advantage of the pit stops, now he's confident to get up there and try to maximize his point stay. He won the first stage, and if he could get up here and get a big win, that would certainly be a great start to the season for that 38, as now it's getting real tight 2x2 here. You're seeing Howe with a little bit of wiggle there in that 38. These air effects, these aerodynamics, no joke, folks. It is really tough to fight there in the car.
Absolutely. It's just like real life. The air pushes you around. It's not even the driver's fault. It's the air around these race cars just pushes you all around the racetrack when you're side by side like this. That's what makes it so difficult to hold your car in a straight line, and that's what makes bump drafting so dangerous.
Yes, sir, but these guys, masters of that, as they have proven throughout the last couple of seasons here. Look at that 38 all over the back bumper of Hoff in the 9. Might get the advantage, not quite going off into turn 1 there. We'll see if they get the run coming out of turn 2 then.
15 laps to go. The 38's got to be careful. It's still too early to be pushing hard like that. Got to watch out for your temperatures.
You see Cram, that 44, kind of slide up a little bit there on the straightaway to maybe affect that side draft just enough. To your point, though, Howe right there ducking out on that top line a little bit, getting some air to the grill, making sure he keeps those temperatures in check. And you can see how much momentum that gives up to that bottom line. And look at Lyon trying to defend it as well with a little bit of blocking that 15.
It's getting racy now. 3 wide in the back. The third lane trying to form by Clint Spillman. Nobody is really going with him running that Talladega Nights paint scheme. But it's still Robbie Lyons holding the lead out front. Question remains on if he has enough gas to make it to the end. If he runs out and in front of everybody, that's going to be disaster.
Well, we saw it earlier, obviously, with Nick Olsen, Michael, to your point, with him blowing the engine. When you have something like that happen and all of a sudden a huge loss of momentum, whether it be an engine or gas, that will spell a big disaster for this front pack. Speaking of Olsen, you see him back there in the 24, about 06 car in that outside line. A little bit of contact up front between Hoff and Lyon, and then we're wrecking again. Everybody spills to the inside. No caution out yet. There it goes. Officially thrown there by Alex Bell. 6th caution of the day.
Lucas Cram might have had a bit of involved in that one. I'm not sure who exactly spun around there.
It was Hoff initially taking the first spin. It looks like him and Sean Howe just getting a little discombobulated on that outside line in the travel. It started with Howe with the wiggle down into the lines a little bit. And from there, Michael, that wreck was on, and Hoff gets turned and eventually all the way spun around. Then you get a couple of other cars back there getting involved as well. Looks like the 34, Mitchell Muma.
Oh, I see what happened.
The 54, Christopher Tate, all those guys involved.
I see what happened there was contact with the inside and outside lane from the 38. A little bit of contact got everybody up the front, and that should have been a lot bigger than what it was.
Yeah, no doubt. A lot of guys lucky to avoid that one. Still, though, some banged in bumpers. Most notably at 15, Robbie Lyons got a pushed-in spoiler now on that rear bumper, and so we'll have to see how this sorts out in terms of guys pitting. It will be, looks like probably under 10 to go by the time we take the restart. Michael, another thing too here, guys like Lucas Cram, Gale that stayed out under these cautions, fuel-wise they're good. They can afford to not pit here. This will be interesting to see how this shakes out, who pits, who doesn't under this caution. A lot to sort out right now. Currently, though, scored as leader is the 38 of Sean Howe up front.
He is, but the only problem is this: Lucas Cram might actually have a little bit of damage from the spinning car of the number 9 machine when they came of Brandon Houff when he came down onto him. So that could always be a question on if he's got a little bit of damage. He's got to come down pit road. I would have to assume, maybe to get it looked at or to think. And here comes Sean Howe down pit road. He's giving up the lead with 10 laps to go.
Depending on how Alex Bell, the race official, rules it, it could be a situation where Howell gets the black flag anyways, so that's maybe why he's diving down pit road. We'll have to see how that's called. I haven't seen an official decision yet.
Do you mean the black flag or the white flag? Because you said the white flag.
Oops, I meant black flag. I apologize. Thank you for that catch. I was thinking about the white flag because we're getting closer, obviously, towards the end of this one. But, yeah, Hal coming down pit road there to kind of top off and maybe knowing that he might get that black flag for the cause of the incident. We will have to wait on the official word on that one. But that will turn over the lead here to the 64, Brett Murphy. He was on that outside line. About third car or so in that outside line. And Michael, he does have a little bit of rear fender damage as well. So we'll have to see if he decides to stay out with it. That could be interesting because that could really affect how you are as the lead car as opposed to being just a pusher.
Absolutely. This almost reminds me of a 2011 Daytona 500 situation where a driver error causes the original leader to have to go to the back of the pack. In this case, that would be the 38 of Sean Howell. Driver error, a mistake, an innocent mistake, could just end up costing you the entire race. So I guess now the question will be is if Brett Murphy can hold on the final 9 laps. I'm pretty sure if I did my calculations right, it'll be 9 laps from the restart to the end of this race if they can hold them all under the green flag.
Yes, and of course, SARG does work with a few green-white checkered attempts, and they have been used before. So, Michael, wouldn't necessarily be surprised if they get used here. While we got a chance, let's update on where we are on the field in terms of cars running, cars out, all that good stuff. 27 cars took the green flag here. We are down to 20 on the lead lap. Currently, Lucas Strayer, he had the lucky dog, got the wave around. So out of those 27, still on the track, we have 23 of them. The Quinn Gingrich out there in the 48, currently 23rd, 7 laps down. Had been involved in a couple wrecks, unfortunately for Mr. Gingrich. Luck just has not found him. But he's still out there trying to maximize his position for the day. And as I mentioned, 20 cars on the lead lap. So all in all, not too bad so far in this opening race. A couple guys just suffering some bad luck. Derek Newsom, Jeremy Jones, Christopher Lewis, and Jacob Lockley are all out of the race at this point. Everybody else, so in that top 20 hungry and looking to try to get a win here to kick off the 2021 season. We are 1 to go conditions. It looks like Britt Murphy will stay out in front here, Michael. So if you're Robbie Lyon back there now in that 15, what are you thinking trying to push it? It'll be Britt Murphy getting ready to lead us to the screen. It'll be the 25.
Let me try that again because I accidentally hit the wrong button.
Okay, there we go. I was wondering.
It'll be very interesting to see if that 15 car will be able to stay up to his back bumper and push him. We've got 9 laps to go. I still think it's slightly too early to worry about not worry about your temperatures though, but it's going to be interesting. I can't wait to see these final 9 laps unfold.
Yes, sir. As mentioned, Murphy getting ready to lead him. Pace car is off here. It'll be on Murphy. Green flag is out, and he'll get it underway after the 6th caution of the day there. And we're racing to the finish here in the SARG Superspeedway Series Daytona 200 opening race of the 2021 season. Look at that outside line. Kyle Major, that 25, Gale in the 52, and the 24, Vic Olson, all matching up pretty well with the inside line right now.
Absolutely. Almost still looks like a pace lap as these drivers still continue to try to get up to speed. 9 laps to go. They're going to head down the back straightaway. Keeping an eye on the back straightaway cam here. These drivers side by side. Can they keep it green these final 9 laps?
Be interesting to see for sure. We haven't seen that third line come into effect as much as we thought it would, maybe pre-race. But Michael, this is the time to experiment, I'm sure, for some of these guys. And speaking of, Gale almost peeks out a little bit there. And to the outside line now to lead that is Robbie Lyons of the 15 as he jumps up from the bottom. And look at the third card. Yeah, a little stack up there on the inside. 1925 almost getting together. That'd be Alex Forget Berube of that 19. He's working his way up there. The outside line dissipates once again.
Clint Spillman working here. We watched on board the 15, his gearbox, the back corner there. We saw his car just as he got bumped by the 25. Lucas Cram trying to take the lead, but Brett Murphy with the lead right now, having a little bit of blinking issues. Clint Spillman going to go to the second position. Whoa, he got real loose off the corner there. That's going to drag cars below the yellow line, and that's going to kill the momentum of the inside.
Yeah, this is what we've been talking about, that outside line. Oh, the big wreck in the air is Gavin Jones big, and there's a caution again.
Oh, that was a big wreck. Gavin Jones took the hardest impact, flying through the air as you see him come to rest here. And this is going to set up yet another restart, and it's going to be with less than 5 laps to go.
And Michael, that chaos caused a little bit. We mentioned the issues there from Brett Murphy up there at front. I think that little it was a bit of a chain reaction with the checkups on the inside. And yes, Gavin Jones in that 12 gets absolutely launched to the moon, unfortunately.
Going to look at it once again here from the camera angle, looking here at the 12 car. Yep, just gets turned up hard into the outside wall, and just flies down almost through the road course. His car's up ahead of him, get involved. I saw Christopher Tate up there as well.
Yeah, and unfortunately, that 19 of Alex Forget Berube, who had just been up in the top 5, he got shuffled from that move by Cram, and he is unfortunately an innocent bystander here in this wreck, along with Derek Stanley, who made the initial contact there with Gavin Jones. And it looks like, Michael, other than that, maybe some guys avoided their misfortune. Look at Ben McDonald in the 16. Gavin Jones almost comes down directly on top of him, but somehow it looks like McDonald may have gotten away with not getting any damage. That is a really crazy move.
Riding on board here, 12 car just comes up just a little bit. Could have even been some net code actually, with Derek Stanley and the 12 car, but all in all, it's still a horrible crash.
Yeah, tough impact for sure for that 12, and just wow, what a view right there from Mr. Stanley's point of view. Michael, you might want to definitely take a look at Mr. McDonald on the back end of that one. Yeah, okay, I'm seeing it now.
That's what I was saying. We were on board with him during that wreck right there. That was just incredible.
Just, I mean, to be driving, avoiding the wreck, and all of a sudden, boom, there's a car right in front of you. That is something else right there. But working the 7th caution of the race here now, Michael. And as you mentioned, this restart is going to shape up to be under 5 to go. It should not be a green-white checkered because obviously the quick yellow's on at the super speedways. Still in the lead, though, is that 64 of Brett Murphy. And Lucas Cram holding that second spot. Clint Spillman in that 88, Michael, has worked his way back up to 3rd. What are you thinking here for the end of the race with these top 3?
Oh, it's going to be crazy. Clint Spillman, now is the point where you do not care about what your temperatures say. Now is the point where you push, and push until it either blows up or you get the checkered flag. One of the two. But while we're still under caution, we're gonna take a quick commercial break. Give me and Tyler a chance to catch our breath for what's gonna be a heck of a finish. So we'll be right back.
ETE Reman is the world's best remanufacturer of transmissions for import and domestic cars and trucks. Based in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, our customers are repair shops, auto parts stores, dealerships, and distributors. And with 6 nationwide warehouses, we're where and when you need us. So when you're looking for a transmission that is like new, only better, instill confidence and install ETE Reman.
We're based out of West Monroe, Louisiana. We do custom T-shirts, racing. We'll do any shirt. We'll do schools, churches, fundraisers. We do a ton of event shirts, as you can see on our board here, all around our banner. Personalized. I mean, we do anything. It doesn't matter to us. We got the custom rugs. We use all the top quality shirts, inks and everything. Hoodies, hats. We do embroidered hats, embroidered shirts. Just you can call us for anything. We do offer the bag and fold, to where you can receive them and they're already labeled and tagged and bagged, ready to give out to your customer and stuff. So you just call us and just tell us, hey, this is what we're looking at doing, and if we're going to put the car on there, it is 125 quantity.
And back here in the SARG Superspeedway Series, getting ready to work off of our 7th caution of the day. We're going to be taking the restart. Looks like Michael with just about 4 laps to go.
Oh, it's going to be 3 laps.
3 laps to go. Thank you. I'm terrible at math. That's why I talk and not do fancy accounting or anything. So, but 3 laps to go on this one. It's not going to be necessarily a green-white checkered. They do get 3 attempts out there, folks, at green-white checkers if needed. But it's going to be the 64, Brett Murphy, on the inside, lead him to green. The outside, Lucas Cram, the defending champ, trying to start off 2021 in a good fashion here in that 44. Pace car getting ready to pull off.
We're using the drone cam as they go, as the leader blinks once again. The Clint Stillman had a good jump to get right on the back bumper. Green flag's back out, 3 laps to go. Trying to get a good finish here. The outside lane is not formed up right yet, but we'll see if Clint can if he can push him past, and it looks like it might be possible for Clint to clear that 44 car.
Yeah, he looks like he might. And then Lucas Cram in that outside line. All of a sudden get a little bit of help from Robbie Lyons in that 15, but it's just those 2 cars up there. No help right now. To your point, that inside line really formed up. Goes Murphy, Spillman now goes to the outside in that 88, looking for it. And look at that top line quickly. All of a sudden has 4 cars in it. The 88, the 44, the 15, and the 39 there of James DeCarellis as well. And look at Jordan Clark in that 71 has worked his way back up there into the top 5.
That leader blinking might be the outside lane's best move, or best chance right now at getting the lead here. 2 laps of racing to go at Daytona. The outside lane is getting formed up. Clint Spillman very, very close to be side by side.
Yeah, they just need that one good run. Spillman get the big push there for the 44 of Cram. On the inside, that 25 of Kyle Manger doing all he can to keep it straight. Of course, dealing with Murphy and his little bit of internet issues. But look at Manger on the back bumper of that 64 as they drag race down the back stretch, getting ready to come to 1 to go this time by. Spillman on the outside, Murphy on the inside. Look at him pull away a little bit on that inside line. Jordan Clark in that 71 as well, doing all he can to be able to push forward. And now as they get to the line, it's going to be Murphy as they take it to the 1 to go. This race will finish no matter what from this point on here.
Clint Spillman's only chance is to use that side draft. It's 3 cars on the outside lane versus 6 on the inside plus. I don't think it's going to happen. We're going to see probably Kyle Manger move to the outside lane if he has a run down the back straightaway. He turns the leader.
Major to the lead now, that 25. Major did warn Murphy, hey, if that blinking still occurs, I can't check up for you at this point. Now there goes Jordan Clark and Clint Spillman. Big wreck there in turn 3. It's Major, though, still in the lead.
Big wreck in
turn 4.
Big wreck.
Stephen
Here
Gale
he comes to the inside. It's going to be side by side. Stephen Gale, Kyle Manger at the line.
Stephen Gale with the run. He got it.
Stephen Gale takes the checkered flag. What an absolutely great finish. Oh, and then it gets run into by the 21.
A classic SARG Superspeedway Series finish. Chaos in the last lap. Stephen Gale Michael, the big run off turn 4 behind Major as everybody was wrecking behind him, and Stephen Gale is going to kick off 2021 with the win. After a lot of heartbreak and tough luck last season, this is going to feel really good for him. And stage 1 winner Sean Howell will round out the podium with 3rd. Brandon Hoff brings home 4th. Garrett Maines, despite having no fast repair in that last 10 laps and being really banged up, he still brings home a top 5 after getting the pole.
And as if I don't think the 52 could even do burnouts, we're going to go back and we're going to take a look at this, at the wreck and the finish out here. The 71, I'm not sure who that was, 71 of Jordan Clark just came up into Clint Spillman thinking he was clear when he clearly was not. The big wreck ensues. Gale has a run, goes to the inside. Kyle Menger couldn't really do nothing about it. Just a side-by-side finish. Then he just comes right up into the 25 car to seal the deal. It was a battle of the 52 and the 25.
What a race to the end right there. You know, Sean Howell back there in that 38 was wishing he was just a little closer to maybe challenge for a 3 wide at the line, but what a move by Stephen Gale and crafty one. He started 7th in this race. He will win. Of course, Kyle Manger started 19th, finished 2nd. Sean Howell started 20th. He'll take 3rd. The rest of the top 10 here as we get towards the results. I mentioned the top 5 and 6 is Lucas Strayer rebounded from some issues. In 7th, Christopher Tate in that 54. In 8th, Robbie Lyons ran strong all race up front. Couldn't capitalize at the end, though. He'll take home an 8th. Matthew Oliveira in his debut here in SARG, at least for the Cup Series, takes home 9th in that 57. And Jacob McMillan in the 21 will round out the top 10.
That was absolutely incredible here. We're going to take a look at our results coming across the screen here. As we said, Stephen Gale, Kyle Menger, Sean Howell, your top 3. Let's go ahead and actually bring up our 3rd place finisher, Sean Howell. As soon as I can find him. There he is.
Got to dig through a little bit, yep. Hey, Sean, Tyler, and Michael up here in the booth. We talked to you at the end of stage 1 after your stage win, and you had a front row seat to the end of that crazy finish. Walk us through that last lap.
Yep. I have an unwritten rule on some of these restrictor plate tracks to never go on the outside lane on last lap because I have not had good luck with that. So we hugged the yellow line and stuff started to clear out, and I seen the wreck happen. I cranked it hard left, and luckily didn't get clipped anywhere. I wish I could have got through a little cleaner. Might have been able to give it a run for the win, but I can't be mad with the top 3 there.
Well, not only that, Sean, but the big stage win, as we mentioned. And last season, obviously, you had some really bad luck. You were in a group of about 5 or 6 guys where, you know, you put yourself in position for a stage or the end of the race, and it just wouldn't come to pass. How does it feel here to start off 2021 with the top 3 and a stage win?
Yep, great start to the season. Everything went to plan this time. Never had to use my fast repair, never had any damage, just kept the car clean all day, and that's all you could hope for in a restrictor plate track race.
And it was incredible. Just that finish alone. We saw you able to get up there and battle for the lead, but ended up having to come down pit road under the second to last caution. What happened there with that incident with you and the leaders up in the front?
That was I got an EOL for that. I believed I caused it, or just barely. I think I might have barely came down on. I believe it was Robbie. I'd have to go back and look at it, but yeah, I got an EOL for that, so I came down pit road, and I just came down a little bit too much. Might have been net code, and then everything kind of went together. So ended up back in the back, but we were able to push back through the front there.
Absolutely, Sean. And of course, at this time, we'll turn it over to you for shout-outs as we finish a wild first race to the 2021 season.
Yeah, just shout out to everyone that was helping me out through that race. I appreciate Chris Tate pushing me back there at that stage end to let me back in pit road and fuel back up. And Appreciate you guys showing the broadcast.
Well, Sean, congrats on that third place finish, and we'll go ahead and say goodbye to you for tonight, and maybe catch you down the road next week.
Yeah, have a good one, nice.
And that was third place finisher Sean Howe. I believe, Michael, correct me if I'm wrong, we grabbed Kyle Manger here, second place finisher.
Yep.
Hey, Kyle, Tyler, and Michael up here in the booth. Man, coming off turn 4, you probably felt like you had the win in hand. Walk us through turn 4 onward there as you saw all the chaos happening behind you.
I ran a terrible last lap in general from getting to the inside of Brett and accidentally spinning him. So, I just wanted to apologize to him first. And then, coming off 4, I saw there was a wreck behind me. And I guess Steven got by it there, and he had such a run, I knew I was going to have to block it. And I went high, hoping I can block it in time, but he timed it perfectly and made a great move to win. So I got to give props where it's due to Steve.
Well, and Kyle, you just highlight some there, that little incident between you and Brett on the backstretch. Despite his internet issues, obviously you were doing all you can to make sure that wasn't going to be the case. But we saw all night, you guys were wiggling at times there in line. How tough was it to kind of not only give the proper bump, but to just fight the arrow all race long?
Yeah, it was a blast to drive. They were definitely a handful, and that's just what happened the last lap. I got a little bit loose off 2 and slid down the track a little bit and just locked bumpers at a weird point. But I think everyone did a good job tonight with how they drove, and it was really, the car was a lot of fun to drive tonight.
Man, from a season finale win to a second place finish here at Daytona, you almost got the job done, man. That would have been a heck of a story for you and that 25 team. But second place, it's still pretty good to brag about there. Good start to the season. Just tell us, just the race in general, just how mentally challenging is it just to keep your focus and patience all race long?
Yeah, it's a long race, and usually the first half or right before the first pit stop, I like to relax because of how on edge it is. It's hard to do for an hour and a half, but it's you got to find yourself at the right position at the right time. Get lucky missing some wrecks. It's very intense, but that's why we keep coming back. And Lucas does a great job, running things. Good to have Alex here as race control this year. So. Looking forward to what's in store for this year.
Absolutely, Kyle. Of course, at this point, we'll turn it over to you again for your shout-outs to start off with a second place finish, as Michael mentioned, a good start to the season for you.
No sponsors yet, but got to thank Flatout Racing Network for coming back another season. Looking forward to having you guys back. It was fun to work with some guys on track like Garrett, Robbie, Lucas, everyone else that was a part of it tonight.
Absolutely, Kyle. Once again, congrats on that second place finish. And folks, you heard it. If you need some sponsorship opportunity, Mr. Kyle has it available, so hit him up. But congrats on that. We'll hopefully catch you next week, and good luck.
Thanks. See you guys.
And that was second place finish there, Kyle Manger. And now into the booth, the winner circle himself, Stephen Gale, after the big moves. We'll go ahead and bring him in here. Stephen, Tyler, and Michael up here in the booth. My goodness, man. Just like Kyle and Sean, you had been a guy last season that had really been on the rough end of some bad luck. You put yourself in some spots to maybe win a race or finish on podium. Today, though, everything breaks right for you. Walk us through that last lap from your perspective as you made the big move there on Kyle to take this one.
I didn't think I was going to win because it was all single file. The leader got spun. And I was like, okay, cool. P5 at least. Then the 71 hits the guy on the outside. Okay, cool. P2. I was like, wait a minute, I have a run. Tripped Kyle going on the outside, went low, and just had enough momentum to pass him.
You make it sound so simple, but it just highlighted it with how the mental grind out here with these cars today. Not only with typical super speedway racing, but it seemed like and Kyle did mention how much of a handful they were. How was it as a driver being out there just in the mid pack and having to fight the aero and also guys all around you?
It was definitely different than the truck. It was more of a handful, especially I was trying new equipment today, so that wasn't fun. But it was
Oh, man.
definitely more of a challenge.
Man, and just to watch it all out there too, you guys gave it a heck of a run. You were back and forth pretty much all race long. It was incredible to watch. Just tell us, mainly from the perspective there, did you feel like going into turn 3, seeing that wreck happen, did you almost think that you were going to get involved in that, or did you just keep your foot in the gas and just turn the wheel left?
Just kept putting the gas and just turned left. I kind of feel I would have missed it for how the wreck looking like, but I just put the pedal to the floor and just go.
You could hear it in your nerves, man. I could tell your adrenaline's pumping, man. You enjoy that win, man. It was great. We can, turn the mic over to you now to give out your shout outs, man.
I want to thank everyone who raced today. Alex is our new good race control. He's good at it. Lucas and Robbie for having the league to begin in the first place. You guys for broadcasting it, and everyone pretty much helped me win today, or get me to the win.
Absolutely, Stephen. Congrats on the big win to kick off 2021. We'll look forward to seeing if we could catch you next week. Go enjoy that victory. Don't party too hard out there, though.
I'll try not to. Thank you, guys. Have a good one.
And that was the winner, the big man, the big cheese of the day, Stephen Gill, making the huge moves at the end, Michael. And what more can we say about this SARG Super Speedway Series? What a fantastic way to kick off 2021 here with the Daytona 200. A couple final thoughts for you, Michael, as we wrap this one up and look forward to next week.
Oh, absolutely. It was fun to watch this. It got my adrenaline going, as you could tell just by how excited me and you both were calling the end of this race. I told you we needed that last commercial break to get prepared for that, and it didn't disappoint. I hope that everyone watching had just about as much fun as we had. And I can't wait till next week. I believe they're going to Talladega, so it's more room, more chance to go 3 and even 4 wide if they want to. It's going to be more exciting.
Yeah, and Michael, expand on that a little bit. Obviously, with this cup package, what do you expect to see for the viewers out there at Talladega next week?
The same exact thing we saw here, but maybe 10 times better. Because only strictly because Talladega, you have more room to maneuver around.
Absolutely. Maybe see that third lane come into play.
And 8 extra laps.
And 8 extra. Well, no, not 8 extra laps, sir. We are 5 laps short over there. Yeah, 75.
I thought it was the other way around.
No, sir. It's a perfect segue opportunity, folks, as we wrap this one up here. Next week for the SARG Super Speedway Series, it will be Talladega, 75 laps of a high intensity, as you just saw here tonight in the Cup cars. Of course, the broadcast will be found right here live on the Flatout Racing Network at 9 o'clock Eastern. It'll be Michael Norman and myself, Tyler Riggs, on the call for that one, of course. But until next time, folks, we thank you for joining us, as always, and watching all the chaos that we can bring you here on the Flatout Racing Network. We hope you all have a good night. And until next week, this has been the Flatout Racing Network and the SARG Super Speedway Series.